Find us other flavors. I don't know all the words. Are we good?
We're good.
So with a title like that, you got to think, man, this guy's stupid because you can make a ton of money in real estate. Well, you can, but you can also lose a ton. So here I am 2.5 years later, figuring this out the hard way. And I just thought I would share a little bit about my business with you and what it's looked like for the past couple of years. So let's go back to the first year that my wife and I started flipping houses. I will back up. We are Molly and Tyler Markham, and we have a company called Trademark Investments. So we decided we would flip houses after watching my grandparents and just other people do real estate. We just thought, you know what, let's get into this. So maybe that story relates with somebody watching this, but I'm going to tell you about 2 deals that we did that went explosively wrong and why they did, because you can lose a ton of money in real estate. We lost over 78 grand on these next 2 deals I'm going to tell you about. So deal number 1, the house was a rancher, had a basement under it, in an area that was nice, but it needed a ton of work. It needed structural work as well, which I highly recommend not doing houses that have structural work if you're going to get into flipping houses and you're new, because that is a ton of extra money and extra mental energy, and just structural issues are difficult. So here in West Virginia, we have those a lot more than normal, but don't do those. So this house had structural. We spent $24,000 in structural work on this house. And then we spent another $100,000 in renovations in this house, not just buying it. So we were $55,000 on buying it, $24,000 on structural, and $100,000 more in renovation, just cosmetic updates, taking out walls, and it's a really beautiful house. Well, at the end of the day, we were in the house at about $217,000, purchase, rehab, holding costs, legal fees, all that. And we ended up selling that house almost a year after we put it on the market for a net of $188,000. So do the math. That's how much we lost on that one. And here's why. Because we had no idea what the market could bear. We had no idea what we were going to sell the house at when we started flipping it. And we also way overdid the finishes, like way overdid them. It's beautiful. Here's some pictures. We'll put pictures up. The house is beautiful, but we just way overdid it. And we didn't know what we were doing. And so this is a free plug for realtors out there. If you're watching this video, if you don't have a realtor, you need to get one before you start flipping houses, because they can tell you what that market can bear. So anyway, I'll break this down, but let's go over the next deal. Same deal. We had a friend helping us who was a contractor. He was helping us flip the houses. He's still a great friend of mine. He and I kind of did this together, and we really didn't have any idea what we were shooting for when we started the second house. So it had 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. It was in a city called Vienna, West Virginia, and it was close to a golf course. So we thought, okay, we're going to do this thing to the nines. Simple as that. Minor detail. Didn't have a garage. Minor detail. Major detail, but I'm going to keep it minor for the story. And we did that same house the same way. Extremely nice finishes. We just went overboard and put all the nicest stuff in the house. Here's some pictures. It's beautiful. We did a great job. These are the 2 proudest houses we probably have so far in our business. They're beautiful. We sold that house for a net of $148,000 almost a year after we put it on the market, and we were in it for $176,000 with purchase, rehab, and all that. We bought it for $85,000, and we put the rest in rehabs, and it didn't have any structural. So we did over just under $100,000 in rehabs on that house. So here's why you can lose a ton of money in real estate. If you do things wrong and you watch Tarek and Christina and you watch Fixer Upper and you don't understand how these things progress and how the transaction actually works, you can lose a lot of money. So we did some Tarek and Christina houses, and we watched their show. My wife and I enjoy it. It's great. We did those, and this is what we netted. So let me back up and tell you how you don't lose money in real estate. Number 1, when you buy a house to flip, you need to know what you're going to sell it at from day one. You need to decide, or have a realtor help you decide, what you're going to sell the house at from day one. So you know, we're going to buy it at X amount and we're going to sell it at X amount. So everything in between is our rehab numbers, our holding costs, and our profit. So let's look at it this way. Let's just take a house that you're going to sell for $150,000. You know you're going to sell it for $150,000. You go look at the house, and they're asking $50,000 and it needs a lot of work. So you know you're going to sell it for $150,000. Well, if you go through that house, they're asking 50, and you think there's 50,000 in rehab in the house. Well, then that now means you're going to be in it at 100. Then you'll have closing costs. You'll have holding costs. Likely you're going to borrow somebody's money to flip the house, so you'll work out terms with them, but you're going to have holding costs of some sort. So you're going to now have your purchase, you're going to have your holding cost, and you're going to have your rehab costs all in those numbers that you've got to somehow still save yourself a profit if you're going to sell it at 150. And also when you sell it, don't forget your realtor who you hired to help you, who you need to use to sell it, she's going to get a commission too. So you got to take that out of there. So working these numbers backwards, it now gives you the idea of, okay, if we set up a $25,000 profit margin on that house, that's what we want to make. And that has to be up to you. I'm not going to go in this video on how to decide what you want to make. But if you decide that's what you want to make, you now got to decide, all right, if we're going to make $25,000 and we're going to sell it at $150 after all these costs, our max offer can be this number. So you work it all backwards, and then you won't lose money. You have to stick in the budget of all those numbers, but you can really lose money if you get out of hand on this stuff. Figure out what kind of finishes you're going to go for. Have the realtor help you do that. Stay within budget, and understand that you're going to have to use a contractor or somebody if you don't know how to do this stuff yourself. You're going to have to get good opinions on how to get that house to that price point you want to be at. But that's how you can lose money in real estate. Just don't listen to anybody. Think that you know what you can do, and think you know that the house is going to sell at $240, and think that not having a garage doesn't matter, and think that you should put, granite countertops in a house that's worth $150,000. In our market, we don't have to do that. That's not required. If you think all that stuff, you will spend way more money. And think that you don't need negotiation on the buying side of it, and that you don't need to negotiate it down, because you'll lose money doing all that stuff. So let's recap. You have to work the numbers backwards. You've got to know from day one what you're going to sell the house at, so you can then decide how much rehab is in the house. How much realtor commission am I going to get on that $150,000 sale price? How much is that going to cost me? How much are my holding costs going to be? How much are my utilities going to be? How much are my legal fees going to be? Then that makes you the number that can be your max offer, what you can buy that house at. You've got to set all those numbers up and then work it backwards, and you won't lose money if you stick to those parameters. It's hard to do. That's why it's sometimes a calculated risk. But if you stick to those parameters, it gives you a lot more cushion so that you know from day one, we know how we can make money here. Confirm that with a realtor. Confirm that with friends and family that maybe do what you're looking to do, or if you've got investor friends that you can talk with and kind of get some insight. But that's how you can lose money, doing it the other way, and you can also make money in real estate. So if you like this video, share it, subscribe to our page, check out what we're doing. We have learned how to make some money in real estate, and we have learned how to have a lot of good times. So check our other content out. Send us a comment if you've got any questions, and I'll be happy to break it down. Have a good day.